Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. It's the In Wheel Time car talk show. Just ahead, Jeffrey has our pre-owned car of the week, the VW Jetta, that might just be right up your alley. Local road racer Alec Udell checks in, lets us know what's going on in his world. Later, we talk with Mustang Randy. Conrad has the racing calendar and car clinic, and we'll also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Just ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeffrey Dziekan. I'm Don Armstrong, so glad you could join us today. And also joining us right now is Alec Udell, Houston's own professional road racer. Alec, good morning. Good to see you.
Morning. Good to be here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, how come you're not racing today?
How come I'm not racing today? Because it is just before there's like 2 weeks that we're spending at Sebring here coming up. So,
well, that's what I was hoping that you would lead us into. So,
sure.
What is up with you? How is your life? What's going on?
Life is pretty good. Just enjoying spending a little bit of time at home before getting heavy into some coaching and a bit of driving. So I'm heading to Sebring, like I said, tomorrow morning. I'll be there for about 2 weeks. I've been working on a little bit of a pretty cool system that, I don't know, we may or may not appreciate, but it just depends on what you're thinking. There is a bunch of GT3 Cup racing that's coming up next week. We've got the Carrera Cup testing leading into the first race of the season, as well as the USAC series, their sprint challenge that I'll be doing some coaching with. And then I've been working with a team as well as a manufacturer on a steer-by-wire system that they're waiting approval on, basically, to run in the IMSA series.
A steer-by-wire.
That's what he said.
So you're talking about still a driver behind the wheel, but electronic, I'm assuming servos are actually moving the suspension components around.
Yep, exactly. So it goes on the rack and pinion, but it's got basically a force feedback unit with a wire that connects to electric servos that turn the steering rack.
So you as a driver, how does that impact your I don't drive professionally, I just drive like a lunatic. How does that affect your feel for the road? How do you get that feedback in the system?
Yeah, and so that's kind of the challenge with the system is you basically, a lot of it's based on like how much force comes through like the vertical axis. So like when the tire gets loaded, they have essentially an algorithm that the manufacturer has built to give force feedback through the wires essentially to the unit that you're steering with.
So that's all done with sensors on the suspension, or just an in-car device?
It's a combination of like an in-car device, a little computer unit that is reading data from like lateral load, which comes from sensors on the suspension, as well as like G-force load from an accelerometer.
Not unlike what some of the sims use.
Right, yeah. But the challenging or the difference between like a sim versus like a real application with this unit is like in a sim, it does all the math already and it knows all the math that it's doing. In the real life, it kind of has to process the math and then run it through the system to the driver.
Oh my God. And you're going to drive this at speed? What is the speed of this car? What's the top speed of this car?
So this car is a GT3 style race car. So the top speeds are, 160, 170, 180, depending on the racetrack.
Oh my God. And you're not connected to the wheels.
Yeah.
Is there a default connection to the wheels? Because I know.
No, it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know on Infinity cars, they have a drive-by-wire system.
Yeah, that's correct.
But it has a default power loss safety system in it where you're driving by wire because it's actually pulling and separating the steering wheel from the steering box. But when power is lost, that pull is stopped and the two pieces connect mechanically. Is that also the same thing? Do you have same type of a system on your car?
Nope. It's basically likened to like a fighter jet, because all fighter jets now are fly-by-wire. And so it's kind of the same thing where you don't have that actual connection. And so part of the process is, and why it's being used in motorsport, is to develop the system and prove the capability of the system and test it in the most harsh conditions. So, someone like myself pushing it to the limit for hours on end.
But you have, through that development, you don't just go from here's my idea to here's the mechanical to 160 miles an hour. You've tested this at the 10, 20, 30 mile an hour ranges to
like a bench test.
Yeah.
Sure. And so basically this system has been running in Europe since 2019. And so now they're working on bringing it to the United States and bringing it to a couple of the racing series here as well.
So did you have any contact with it back when you were in Europe a couple of years ago?
I did, actually. Yeah. And so one of the races I did was at Hockenheim, and I raced on a team where they were developing that system as well. And so it's kind of like, I haven't really had much conversation back and forth since then, but we kind of got hooked back up through a team that I work with in Houston here, and, are just kind of talking and seeing what the process is going to be like to get it approved, because it's a new system and there's kind of some questions about it, but it's very exciting in terms of I get to put my engineering hat back on a little bit more, because that's what I studied in college.
Use some of that Clemson money.
There you go.
Exactly, yeah. Combine that with the driving.
So with that, are you actually entering this car in the 12 hours?
Potentially. It's got to go through some processes, and so that's kind of
like approvals from IMSA?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the question mark at the moment.
You can have somebody else drive it.
Well, no, but if it's proven itself in Europe for a couple of years, I can't see why IMSA wouldn't want to at least introduce the technology here in the States.
Yeah, I think there's just a bit of a process that they've got to go through. So I agree. And of course I want to drive it, but it's just a matter of, is it going to happen?
What is the advantage of a drive-by-wire in racing? What's the advantage of that? Because you still have to have sensors and things like that hanging on the car. I mean,
Sure.
As opposed to an actual mechanical steering column, if you will, and connected to, tie rods and all of the stuff that's up there, you still have to have that.
Yeah, so the long-term effects of the system, it's very useful in rally racing, and especially because you don't get a bunch of feedback in the steering wheel if you don't want to. You can kind of tune how much it comes back. So basically what it does is when you steer, you just can hold the steering wheel in that direction, and the tires will acclimate back to the direction that you're holding the steering wheel. So when there's a lot of bumps and kind of a bunch of elevation change, the driver can be more precise on the inputs. In terms of the long-term effects as well, kind of down the road, you eliminate the steering rack completely, and then you can actually set toe for different angles as you're going down the track.
But I'm sorry, but I've been taught all my life, part of driving, especially a race car, is the feel that you get back, the feedback from the actual front end and what it's doing and how it's reacting to the bump. There's no perfect surface. And so
Sure.
how do you react to that if you can't feel it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you can feel it, and that's the interesting thing. But it's about how quickly that the system can respond to it, and so there is a little bit of a delay. Basically, there's a little bit of a lag, and it's, milliseconds essentially, but you can feel it. So you've got to anticipate it as a driver. You've got to learn and anticipate it a little bit more, because you still get that feedback from the steering system. It's just not exactly the same. And so that's part of the process as well, is getting it basically as close as possible to the mechanical system as you can.
But the steering wheel is not connected to the front end at all.
Exactly.
I mean, it's basically like a video game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is the feedback done with a magnetic device on the steering column at the hands of the driver, or are they actually using servos to give the feedback?
It's like a force feedback unit like you would see on a racing sim.
Okay.
So
it's been around a while.
I know. I'm just trying to process this in my mind. That you know, it's one thing to be sitting in a room in a simulator and having, you know, the seat move and the steering wheel vibrate and all that sort of stuff. But it's a whole nother thing when you yourself are doing 150 miles an hour around a track. I mean, I can't imagine that they'd have to take some sort of mental genius to get past that, because I don't know as if I could.
Well, I think
that's why we have Alec on the show.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that's why it's these young guys that are doing this. I mean,
Thanks, Mike.
It's like the young guys in
Thanks,
NASCAR.
Mike.
They have no fear, for one thing. They're not old enough to know what it's like.
They don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
But they also understand the technology and are engaged in
the development of that
Alec's
technology.
point, the mechanical part of the technology. Do you do any of the electronic technology as well, or do you leave that to those guys?
No, I leave that to those guys.
Yeah.
Just don't tell the driver.
I know some of it, but I always called electricity a black magic because you can't see it.
The only thing that comes to my mind is the terrible wreck that pretty much ended A.J. Foyt's career, and it going straight off the course and into a mound of dirt, and it ruined his legs. And I mean, that's my vision, because I'm not Alec.
Wasn't that Watkins Glen?
I think some place like that, and it was bad. And you know, cart him off, and he's still gimping from that. And I just, you know, it frightens me.
Well, I think chassis construction today has advanced over what was going on in the 90s. The safety capsule that they build around the driver, the way the seat fits and snugs, the way the belts work, the Hans device, you know, they have advanced driver safety so much as well.
Sure.
So is this looked at as an improvement in driver safety, or just in control?
It can, especially for open wheel, because when you think about open wheels as well, whenever they hit, they have to let go of the steering wheel, right? Because it especially in IndyCar, it is translated exactly immediately to the driver. And so this is one of those things where since there's no connection, you know, you hit a wall or something or hit another car, and the steering doesn't necessarily, it won't
break your wrist.
Yeah, it won't rip your wrist or rip your hands off. Yeah.
Well, I know I see them talk about that in the F1 stuff and in the IndyCar stuff about how they're actually taught to release the wheel. And I actually remember Danica, when she went to NASCAR, them commenting on her because she was plowing into so many walls anyhow that she generally let go of the wheel in the process, which is untypical of the NASCAR driver who's still you know, driving,
still trying
steering and fighting it down.
Yeah, that's the way I would have until you just mentioned it. That's the way I always thought.
But it's a matter of
you're trying to
breaking a thumb, breaking a wrist, breaking an arm, damaging a shoulder from that.
I never thought of it because, well, I've never hit a wall at 150 either.
Alec, have you ever driven an Indy car?
Not an Indy car. No, I've driven some open wheels, some Formula Mazdas, but not an Indy car.
If you were given the chance to drive an Indy car, would you?
In a heartbeat.
Totally would.
In a heartbeat.
I mean, have you put notification out there that, hey, I want to drive one of those?
No, actually, I haven't. You know, maybe that's the reason why.
You got to raise your hand there, man.
Exactly.
Hey, AJ just lives down the street in Waller.
That's true.
Hockley.
Waller, Hockley.
Yeah. No, I went down the sports car racing route when I was about 13 years old and kind of focused on that. You know, around that time, it was 2012. The cars were not as safe as they are now with the windscreens, the aero screen, and the halo systems. And so, you know, like what we were just speaking about, how the car safety has increased so much over the last 10 years, even that now it's something that I would really want to do. But at the time, it was just like you had a couple of drivers that passed away within a couple of years, and
I want a body around me.
Wasn't both a family thing and a personal thing. Was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
So as you're talking about going to Sebring, are you going to drive? They're going to have some GT4 class going on before the 12 hours, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Are you going to be driving?
No, not in the GT4 class till about middle of the season. We've got some projects. I can't say exactly what it is just yet, but there's some GT4 projects I'm working on in the middle of the season here. And so for me, it's potential I'll be in the race, but we're having to wait and see, basically.
You driven any stock cars out at Houston Motorsports Park on a Saturday night?
No, I haven't. I've actually had a couple of conversations with some guys with late model cars to get into the race. It was actually last summer, but it hadn't lined up with the racing schedule just yet for myself. But it's definitely something I'm.
Well, Gina's got a full tilt schedule over there at Mobile International Speedway, so that's a half-mile banked oval. I mean, we can fix you up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
we know people.
Especially with the new cars that they're running in NASCAR that kind of line up a little bit more with the sports cars that I've been driving. It's been more and more an interest of myself to get into some oval racing and doing some road racing in the stock cars.
See, there you go.
Well, and you get that opportunity to visit with the NASCAR folks, whether it's at primarily going to be at Daytona, but even a little bit at Sebring, where some of that cross-pollination from other series will pop into the race.
Bring your own steering wheel.
Have driver's suit and helmet, will travel.
Both.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
even into IndyCar.
So where do we follow you at your adventures in Sebring?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Instagram at Udell, Udell, Alec, or on Facebook, just Alec Udell Racing. Those are the two places that I stay active. Actually, I do some stuff on TikTok now, that's what the kids are all about. And that's the same thing as Instagram's at Udell, Alec.
That's what the kids are all about.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of perspective.
Well, I have to tell you, my back is feeling a lot better, and I'm feeling a little bit more confident these days about getting in a go-kart. I know you got a connection.
Yeah, we do. We got the kart track up in Conroe at Houston Karting Complex. So whenever you guys are ready, I heard you talking about Mustang Randy. I assume that's Randy Weldon. We had him out at the track not too long ago as well. So
how did he do going around there?
I was going to say, how did he do?
I think he just hosted an event. I'm not sure if he drove.
Well, we're going to corner him on that one here shortly.
Yeah, most definitely.
Great, very good.
Alec, it's great to talk to you. Good to see you, my friend, and best of luck down at Sebring. And stay in touch with us. We want to know how you're doing. We want to see you in a driver's suit on a Saturday morning, getting ready to qualify somewhere. And we want that experience with you. Can we do that?
Okay. Yeah, I will. We'll touch base sometime in May and June, and that should be a good time.
Perfect. We get one of your posse to follow you around with the camera, and we'll live vicariously through you.
It'll just be me with like a selfie stick. So is that good?
That'll work. That'll work as well.
But just give a name to the selfie stick. That way you can talk to it while you're going around there.
Thanks, Alec.
Perfect.
Alex, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Talk to you soon. Alec Udell.
How fun.
Yeah. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, please shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com, and you can send your complaints to mars@inwheeltime.com. And I actually send some during the week.
You do.
I'm constantly complaining about something.
For the first 2 hours before the show goes on the air.
That's pretty much it.
That's the verbal
we don't know why he keeps coming back over here, because all he gets is a bunch of crap from all of us the entire 2 hours.
I don't give Mike crap. Y'all do.
If you go anyplace else to get abuse, you got to pay extra for it.
Yeah, either that or you got to marry it.
One of the two. And that still costs you.
All right.
That's why Don's not.
Wow.
Time now for the racing calendar, and there are some events going on today.
Tomorrow will be the Las Vegas Speedway with NASCAR. That should be a lot of fun.
Is the Xfinity race going to be on today?
Xfinity race is going to be on today. Correct.
FS1, 3:30.
Okay.
And then next weekend is the Gator Nationals in Gainesville, Florida.
Yep.
Always a good event.
In the swamp.
In the swamp. And then also next weekend is NASCAR is going to be at Phoenix. 2 weeks from now, Formula One starts on the 20th at Bahrain.
Are they?
Yeah, and I understand Massey has availability for interviews, so maybe we can get Mars to contact him and we can interview the guy that just got fired by Formula One. And then talking to Alec, March 20th.
Should go along with the theme of this show. Somebody's always ticked off at somebody else.
They need to hire me for Formula One. I'll straighten them out.
Is the 12 Hours of Sebring, and it'd be real interesting to see Alec get an opportunity to put that vehicle
That would be great.
on track and stress it and test it with as they bring that kind of technology here to the States. You know, we're talking to him, and I'm thinking about what he's involved in demonstrating. And, yeah, they've kind of brought it up to speed, but he's kind of like a test pilot. And I'd almost put him at that level.
Yeah, you would admire that.
As a test pilot to jump behind something that's just not connected.
Well, that's what I was saying. You don't see any old test pilots. You don't see any old race car drivers.
I would imagine that it would, for me, there has to be some sort of comfort level in the fact that I would like to have at least, if the system fails, it puts the brakes on for you, and
something.
But he also said he's involved in training and schooling. If he's not comfortable with it, I don't think he's getting in the car.
No, I don't think so either. And that was interesting to see that he was involved with the wireless stuff back in 19 when he was running BMW over in Europe. So elsewise, March 20th is also the IndyCar up in Texas. So that's it.
Perfect.
On to you.
On Texas.
Up in Fort Worth.
Oh.
IndyCar's in Fort Worth.
Okay. At the Texas Motorplex.
Yeah, I don't think IndyCar's come to COTA. I just think right now NASCAR comes to COTA, and last year that was
Formula One.
Well, that was the
debacle.
The boat barrage.
The debacle.
It was. All right. Time now for our pre-owned car of the week.
Yes.
Jeffrey continues his under 20 series with the 2021 VW. Under 20 meaning under $20,000.
Right, under $20,000. This is in 2021. It is a Volkswagen Jetta GLI, Conrad. Now, in 2021, Volkswagen Jetta is a great choice for the buyers seeking a bargain price. It's a fuel-efficient European sedan with room for 5. The Jetta GLI ups the fun factor considerably with a zippy 2-liter turbo engine.
Did you write this?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I wrote the rest of it, though. Zippy 2-liter engine, entertaining driving dynamics. The Volkswagen Jetta is a 5-seater that comes in 7 trim levels. The most popular style is the S manual, which is right at about $19,000.
S manual transmission?
Yes, which is right at about $19,000. It's got a 1.4-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, front-wheel drive. It's estimated to deliver about a 30 mile per gallon. City's 41. It's 30 in the city, 41 on the highway.
Wow.
The pros of this, you've got roomy back seat, engaging ride and handling. It is a base level vehicle. That's why it's under 20 grand.
20,000.
Right. So it's got a fuel efficient. It is a pretty, peppy little vehicle. The cons on this is the interior lacks a little bit of refinement. The driver assist features are a little shortcoming, but again, it is a base model and is short on the passing power. But you got a 4-cylinder turbo.
Yeah, but look at the gas mileage.
Exactly. So overall assessment of this vehicle, being that it's not only under 20, and for your granddaughters, Mike, this would be great. Since
I'm sure they'd love to have that.
Yep. Volkswagen announced it will discontinue the production of the midsize Volkswagen Passat sedan to the U.S. and make room for the Volkswagen ID4 electric crossover SUV.
As soon as they replaced the inventory that went down in the
Yes,
boat off
well,
of Portugal.
it's at the bottom of the sea. It's down there with SpongeBob. In the event of the even with the rapid rise of the SUV sales, the Jetta has been the best-selling Volkswagen sedan for years. The current version of the Jetta, introduced in 2019 model, it does possess the styling. It doesn't possess the styling of the Hyundai Elantra, but it does have the little bit of the interior materials, up-level, all-wheel drive of the Mazda, the Toyota Prius, I should say, and of course the Corolla Hybrid, which all are going to be featured upcoming. If they're under 20,000, we're going to be talking about them. It is the GLI versions are some of the most fun to drive. Entries among the sport compact sedan include the Honda. If it's under 20, we'll talk about it, and the Subaru WRX.
We'll talk about it.
So looking for volunteers of under 20, huh?
Under 20.
Well,
so those are all great choices.
I will tell
for
you,
Mike.
I remember when they had a Jetta in the press fleet a couple of years ago, and that particular car, it didn't have a manual. I had the automatic transmission. But I liked it. It was a solid German car, and
the chassis.
It drove that way. It drove like a BMW does or other German cars. It has that certain feel of a German car.
Connected,
and it's
firm.
Yes, and it's really a nice car. I mean, whatever it is about the interior. And
Yeah, but again, it's a 21 model, under 20 grand.
to heck with the grandkids. Are you kidding me? I'd drive that car as a regular everyday driver.
Well, you like a shifter anyhow.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
And that, whatever.
And you could put a Hearst in it later on if you
No,
want.
I ain't going to put no Hearst in that. But I will tell you that the motor was fine. It may be underpowered for a lot of people. It wasn't underpowered for me.
You're looking at mileage.
Just have to, you're right. And that's what you sacrifice. Not so much with an electric car, but if you're going to stomp on the throttle, then you know darn good and well that the battery life is going to go down for that particular charge.
Yep.
So if you're that kind of person, then you are.
Buy it.
Buy it today.
Buy it for your
You know, that's a
grandkids.
nice looking shirt you have on there. That's
you.
a Goodyear racing shirt.
Yeah, I got this at Homestead when Goodyear sent us down there for the week for the Homestead race at NASCAR.
It was very nice. Yeah.
I thought Kathy bought it for you.
No, I didn't have my Goodyear hat. My Goodyear hat's put away because it's got racing
autograph.
signatures. It's got a bunch. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like who?
NHRA.
Oh, NHRA.
NHRA.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me 2 years to get that hat filled up.
I have so many signed hats through the years that were all this Oldsmobile stuff. If I didn't make a note on the underside of the brim, I couldn't tell you who signed them. I know a couple of them because you can barely read the signature. You can always read John Force's because his J and his F are very pronounced. Outside of that, I know I've got like some Larry Morgan, some Mark Powick.
I've got a hat
Warren
that's,
Johnson, can't read any of them.
we've
I've got
got-
one from Blaine Johnson.
Continental sent us to Uvalde, Texas for the tire tests, and they also sent us to Coda, and I met Michael Shank Racing, who now has won 24 Hours of Daytona twice. I knew or talked to and was exposed to Michael Shank back when he was doing not the full circuit, but in partial circuits, sort of like what Alec does. I met him like that version, and then now he's,
Top tier guy.
Top tier guy.
We're certainly hoping that the weather's going to hold for us when we do the tailpipes and tacos coming up. Really looking forward to it. The one in December was canceled because of the weather. And not because it was cold, but because of the rain. And nobody's going to show up for that. And so we're hoping that the clouds will open.
Well, we have 2 weeks.
I know, 2 weeks. But so our viewers that participate in the show,
Plan on being there. It's going to be a good show.
He's doing it again. Well, we're going to get rid of the cold weather next week, and then boom, it'll be ready.
No, it's going to be cold next week.
It'll get past us, and then the event.
Yeah.
Because we know how much we can trust 14-day forecasting of the weather. Here in
Oh,
Houston.
yeah. 5-day, 7-day.
24 hours.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. But at any rate, so we've got that coming up. It looks like we are going to be at the NHRA Spring Nationals, the last one here at Houston, Baytown.
The grand finale.
Grand finale, yep. And I think Keels and Wheels. And I have the fabulous and famous Hot Rod Tour of Texas coming up at the end of April
bet.
that I will be on. And I will be going and actually doing some video for you boys.
Turning Mike on and Don off.
I
Push it twice.
you have no idea what
We
goes
need to
on here.
We need to
but-
put a picture next to the button.
No, what we need to do is we just need to go to a break is what we need to do. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel. In Wheel Time Car Show continues after this quick break.
Saturday, March 19th,
Tell me when.
2022 is the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for the best hot rod, best classic, and best modern classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise in, and this is where you'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and all cars will automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. It's going to be a huge car show, and spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, March 19th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Loopy Tortilla in Katy. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Dziekan. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.